With questions asked and duly answered, Krill can see no more. To converse further, so he throws his bread down on the floor. The denizens and citizens take great offence at this. With pursed lips and gritted teeth, they yell and growl and hiss. Bread spreader, bread spreader, bread spreader. Bread spreader, bread spreader, bread spreader. A lovely moment in the sky with winged friends in flight. Dear Mippage doesn't understand, though Quick still hopes he might. Now back to Earth as his wings start to tire. Surely that's enough pigeons now with dice and desire.
You are free to do what I want. No, you're free to go and find yourself a cosy spot on the streets of Yatar, or Yatar as I've been calling it up to now. I don't know how it's actually pronounced. So I don't think we came up with a conclusive plan of action for the five of you for this evening. So I'm going to talk to Dabov first of all. So you're just going to go to you're going to mill around and sort of find what you feel is a fairly comfortable but exposed alleyway.
Yeah, or the doorway of a Greg's. Something like that.
I don't have a house here, sorry.
Yeah, because presumably you don't want to find yourself in somewhere too shut away, because the intention is that you're trying to find someone to kidnap you. Classic Saturday night. But you don't want to, necessarily be too out on show, because you don't want to necessarily be moved along by Bobby and Ray. So you're just looking for a random spot.
Yeah, I think so.
Make sure you're not too close to a tavern, because people will be coming out drunk and then they'll just be harassing you all night.
Very true as well. Dabov's got the old whatever it's called, town sense. What's it called?
I can't remember.
I like the idea of town sense.
City something it was, wasn't it?
City Secrets or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Oh, and apparently that's so much better than Town Sense, is it? City Secrets.
Well, I'd like it noted that on the record that I didn't actually laugh at the DM blunder there.
Thank you. One inspiration.
Thank you.
So yeah, you walk around and you for those reasons you find what you feel is meets all the criteria of what you want to try and achieve. You're going to keep fairly close. You're going to keep fairly close to the market, because you know that that's somewhere that he has frequented. So you know that that's an area that he must be at least familiar with there. You don't want to be too close to too populated an area that people could come and harass you after hours. But equally, you don't want to be too shut away. So you eventually find yourself in a nice spot. Before I come back to you, the other four of you, what are you going to be doing this evening? Because obviously the plan of action is that Dabov is going to be basically sleeping on the streets, potentially all night, should nothing happen. Or potentially, if something does happen, what are the four of you doing?
Weren't we going to keep watch over him anyway? So, I believe the plan was to go to, the rooftops, and overlook him, so we're kind of hidden away, but we can look down on him in case anyone approaches him.
What do you mean, not have a good night's sleep?
So
that was going to be my question then. So, are the four of you going to be collective, so on a roof together, or are you looking to have separate vantage points?
I don't know how I'm getting on a roof, to be fair.
There'll be some way we can climb up some stairs or out a window or something, but I reckon we should all stay together as an overlook, and then we can take it in turns of sleep-in / someone keep on lookout. Therefore, we can be rested. But
will it not be okay if we just go back to the tavern, wherever we were staying, at the fish out of water, and it'll be all right?
Well, what about if Dabov gets taken in the night?
He's not actually a child, though, is he? He's a fairly competent.
He can fight his own battles.
Well, unless
But
he
what-
can bribe people with nuggies, he's not.
I got food for the night. I'm all right.
I totally understand what you, Stuart / Dweezil, are saying, but equally, if the intention is that hopefully you're, to catch a predator, on the one hand, perhaps Dekvar comes along and beats Dabov and you lose your friend, or alternatively, best case scenario, if Dabov does win, he's then got to try and drag a hobgoblin to you or leave that hobgoblin. So you sort of neither scenario necessarily benefits the group as a whole.
I got it. I can leave Smarg with him, which I can write on a bit of paper, send help, and then as soon as he gets taken, Smarg can get recalled to me with the message, as long as it's within a mile, I believe it is.
Can't
If
Dabov...
we just know to run off them.
Doesn't Dabov have some kind of... Don't you have a spell?
He's got message.
I've got message,
Would that...
which has a range of 120 feet.
And I think, do you have to see them? I can't remember if we had this last time around.
I don't have to see them, but I need to know where they are.
Right. I'll be in bed.
But yeah, bear in mind if you're on roll 20, the inn was over here. So if you went back there to stay for the night, bearing in mind I don't think you even booked a room for that, so there might not even be rooms there.
By the looks of it, it looks like it'd be a good mile away.
Exactly, it's more than 120 feet.
Quinch is stood here contemplating the plan as everyone's discussing it, and he reaches round and grabs an item, and he looks intensely and stoically, and he plucks up the confidence to step forward into the centre of the group. I don't suppose this could help in any way, could it? And Quinch...
No, your bag of teeth aren't going to help.
Quinch holds up the bum-shaped potato.
Oh, that could help.
Fucking hell. Could it, Greg?
Well, what?
Yeah, because now he's got something to eat for dinner other than nuggies.
Right, so
Raw potatoes.
you're
What I
suggesting
can
that
do-
we take up a vantage point on a roof around here.
That's what the potato signifies, yes.
What I could do is send Vin back to you guys if anything happens. Like, I can
Ooh.
communicate with him within 30 feet. No, 100 feet, sorry. But I can still... He doesn't have to stay within. That just means I can't communicate with him if he's more than 100 feet away. So I could send him to go find you if something were to happen.
Yeah.
But then obviously I lose control, communication with him. So it is literally a case of he'd show up if something was wrong.
Yeah, and then
He wouldn't be able to tell you where I'd gone.
Yeah.
But you'd at least know the starting point of where you were.
Are we with you at the moment?
Yeah.
I could just re-gun.
No, theoretically not, because this Dabov was in the market on his own, and you were all sort of looking at him from different vantage points. The market essentially closed, Dabov's moved on, but I don't think you five realistically would have come together, because still this whole charade is going on to try and catch Dekvar, so you don't really want to be coming together as a group. So you probably wouldn't be able to communicate this other than Dabov, obviously maybe through his message, cantrip, spell, whatever.
One last idea. How many nuggies do you have? Have you got enough to leave a trail, As you kind of
Hansel.
go along.
I just remembered. I have a plan for this.
Hansel and...
It's not nuggies, but yeah, I'll leave some sort of trail. But because I got a coffee, didn't I?
Yeah.
I've got a plan. It's fine.
I feel like he was expecting us all to go, yes, you, and know what he meant.
No, I just remember I bought a coffee, but I specifically said I wasn't going to drink it.
So he's
So,
going to stay awake all night.
You're going to be absolutely wired. No, I'll send Vin to come find you, and you know where I start off from, so I'll figure it out.
Okay.
And I'll send Vin to the the inn that you guys are staying at.
So we're going
So is that
we're
the
going to
bandit?
bed.
So the four of you are going to go back to the tavern. Going to leave your comrade. You're going to split the party with potentially a dangerous predator out there. Oh no, actually, Quinch, you're going back with them, right?
That's a shame. That's a shame. That's a shame.
Right, so you're,
as well,
you're
like
all
a-
going back to the. You're all going back to
I'm
the.
not sure we are. Now that
You were the one that
you've,
suggested
I know I was,
it.
but now that you said it,
Well, you could leave someone with me and do a relay or something.
I
You
can
don't all have
re-go.
to stay.
I'm more than happy to re-go for an hour, and then basically once an hour, I just have to send Sebastian, like basically walk myself back to the inn and re-go, and and then every hour it's like a goat relay for re-goat relay.
I need to. I meant to look at this. I need to look at that.
How many times can you go?
It doesn't matter. It's instantaneous, and I don't think there's a limit.
Goat power is strong.
I think that Greg's initial idea that we should take up vantage points.
Could I at least have a nap on that roof? Because I am literally exhausted.
Yeah, that's it. That is a good point.
I mean, we did just have like a whole 10-minute conversation to decide we're going to go with the first idea.
Okay. So to clarify, are we suggesting that you're going to be going on some roofs together?
It does sound that
I
way.
think we should maybe split into a couple of teams.
What, one like north and one south or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay. How close do you want to be to the guy? Do you want to be literally like the roofs that he's like the opposite? Like, say he's down the alleyway. Do you want to be on the two side buildings of it? Do you want to be sort of at the end? Do you want to be a bit further away so you're not too close for any, potentially any?
A little bit further, but so that we can still see him.
See, I was going to say at the end of the alleys, and then we can see if anyone approaches the alleys.
Okay. And so you're going to split into two teams then? Who's going where?
I'll take Quinch.
Yeah, muscle and a flyer in each group.
All right, fine.
I guess I'll pull double duty.
Excellent work. Okie dokie. So, coming back to Dabov then. So, your plan for this evening, I know you said about the coffee, unless it's something you feel that you need to bring up right this second, let's leave that for the time being. For the night itself, what is your plan? Because, as Krill sort of suggested with himself, are you looking to stay awake all night? Are you looking to try and sleep, like, naturally? Because obviously if you stay up all night, you're going to have exhaustion the next day. One would argue I probably would, given you're sleeping out on the street, I probably would have to get you to roll a constitution check anyway, just to see, because you're not necessarily going to get the best night of sleep sleeping outside, even though you've got a history of it.
Yeah, I'll probably sort of take loads of little naps, more so than like a full deep sleep. Just try and sort of doze a little bit. Not a full sleep, I want to stay vaguely aware. And I am going to keep Vin somewhere away from me, just in case. So he's going to maybe be hidden somewhere, don't know, like 20 or so meters away, something like that.
With the intention that he does what?
That he just, in case anything happens to me, he's still left behind to sort of keep his distance and follow me, just in case. So he's basically out of sight, so it doesn't look like he's associated with me.
Okay. All right then. So we have that scenario set up. We've got Dabov down an alleyway near the market, with Vin sort of keeping a lookout for him while he lightly naps throughout the night. And then we've got Dweezil and Quinch essentially finding a spot at on a roof at one end of the alleyway, as far away as they can possibly be while still being able to see everything. And then we've got Greg and Krill at the other side. Now, in terms of getting onto the roof, what's the plan for that?
Good question.
Well, I can wait. Sorry.
Well, Quinch will ferry me up, and Greg will have to ferry
Yeah.
Krill up.
That's fine. Yeah. I assumed that would be what you do, but I just wanted to make sure that that's what you wanted to do. Now, I would like from both of you teams collectively, I would like Dweezil and Quinch to give me a stealth check, please, because you are landing on someone's roof. It's fair to say that, assuming it's a house or any sort of building that's occupied, there's a chance that you could, wake somebody up or disturb them in some capacity.
Yeah, with advantage. Yeah.
No, I wouldn't have thought with advantage.
12.
14.
Yeah. Oh.
14. Okie dokie. And as for Greg and Krill, I'd like the same for you, please.
We don't have to, because we're landing on the roof of the Greg's, which is obviously closed at this time of the evening, and there's no one there.
Nice try. No.
It's not going well.
Oh, nice. A 17, but it's a disadvantage because I'm wearing armour, so I roll again.
Well, I got a critical miss, so...
A 460, so a 16 is my lowest.
A 16 is your lowest. Is that including your bonuses, yeah?
Yeah, so I rolled a 17 and a 14, but I get a +2.
All right. So despite the guy who's used to handling a broomstick and able to actually touch down lightly, it's actually the giant half-orc who manages to prove the daintiest of the two. What I will say is, given that you are able to, both teams are able to sort of essentially try and sort of lower yourself gently, I'll probably give them both a pass. I probably would have said, I mean, Greg's is massively worrying me. I think Krill did enough to maybe right his balance. Maybe just as Greg was about to like thud everyone down, Krill just pulled on Smarg.
It's my old hips. They gave out as I landed. So that's the problem.
Yeah. Okay. So you managed to land on it. You might have heard a little bit of noise underneath. You might have heard somebody sort of like going, "What was that?" You know, sometimes you hear noises and you're sitting downstairs and you think you hear noises upstairs, but you don't necessarily go upstairs and check it. You know what I mean? Probably people are just a bit suspicious by it, but not enough to warrant them coming up and finding out what's going on. So you now have your vantage point. You both can see Dabov. You can see him settling down for the night. So, Dabov, you are in and out of sleep as the night goes. Can you roll me a perception check for the first 3 hours?
That is 21.
21. It's been a while since Dabov has slept on the streets like this. Obviously, it's part of his history, but it's fair to say that he's maybe got a bit more used to civilization than he expected to. And with that comes like a little bit, maybe he's just listening a bit too much to stuff, like all these noises of this city. You know, it's the biggest city that you've been in for a little while, a few weeks at least. And there's just still, even though the town is, the city is starting to close down, there's still just a lot of things going on, a lot of busyness. There's people in their own houses, there's people coming back from the pub, there's people sort of either closing down or potentially setting up their business. And you hear a lot of that. You can hear almost with a spider sense type thing, like you're picking up everything. But on the one hand, it's disturbing your sleep. It's making your mind tick over because you obviously want to make sure you catch this guy and stuff. You're taking everything in, and it's keeping you wired, and you're not maybe able to get as much sleep as you'd like. Nothing of interest happens, but you just almost hear everything. It's almost like I say, that's that superhero moment where you sort of hear every little pin drop and you hear every little sound. You don't hear anything of note, though. You don't hear anything of interest, and certainly there's no hobgoblin that comes a looking for you. I should have asked actually, with the two teams, presumably, how are you working in terms of watching? Because obviously, again, you obviously want to avoid exhaustion, or in the case
I've probably already gone to sleep at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Greg's still wired from his marketplace coffee anyway, so...
Okay, so Greg's taking first watch. Yeah. Krill, Dweezil? Quinch, Dweezil?
Quinch, do you want to take first watch? I think me and Quinch will probably do 2-hour shifts.
Have we still got Mippage with us?
I think Mippage went back to his family.
Fair. I thought he would. Yeah, no, that's fine then, yeah.
So you're taking first watch?
Yeah, I'll take first watch.
So Greg and Quinch, if you can roll me a perception as well.
That's a shame. 1.
16.
16. Greg, you can, from your vantage point, you can see Dabov, and you can from that, even from this distance, you can see that he's not settled. You can tell that he's not, he's almost, like I say, taking everything in. He's sort of laying down, but then almost straight away just sort of like listening, see if he can hear anything, stuff like that. You see all of this. Quinch, you actually fall asleep for half an hour.
Yeah.
You're sort of but you don't even know it really. Like you're trying really hard. You're trying your hardest. You're almost like not blinking. You're staring at Dabov, and you actually zone out for half an hour. And in that half an hour, you notice that there was actually like a car. Even though your perception's rolled badly, you can even just see that something's changed. Like maybe a cart has moved. That you're like, shit, where's that gone? So that's the first 3 hours. Back to you, Dabov. Can you roll me another? So by this time, we're looking at about 1 o'clock at night. 1 o'clock in the morning. Dabov, can you roll me another perception check, please?
Is 16.
16. Okay. It's a bit quieter now. By this time, most of the people that were in taverns and stuff have either gone to bed or passed out. Most of the people in their houses have gone to sleep. There's still a little bit of milling around. Like I said, it's a busy city. You still hear and a few people like down some streets, a few shouts here and there of people. Maybe there's been an attack, or maybe you don't know what's going on, but you can just hear in the distance some sort of bit of angriness. But you don't necessarily feel the need to go and do anything about it. But yeah, there's still just a few little, and you hear sort of creaking and the noise of the wind, passing through the alleyways and stuff. You get a bit more rest this 3 hours. You're a bit more, you've settled into the situation a bit better, and obviously a little bit less noise has helped that. And you get to sort of get most of the sleep that you was trying to achieve. Vin's picking up on, the intensity of the situation and picking up on it, and you sort of every now and again you'll look across to Vin and you'll see him twitching, and he's getting a little bit nervous for you. But we get to 4 o'clock and still nothing's happened. Can I have another perception from Greg and Quinch, please? Actually, would it now be? Would you two have swapped over and watch at this point?
Yeah.
Okay. Dweezil and Krill then. Krill, are you how much sleep are you gonna get?
I mean, it really depends. It depends on.
You need an 8 hours of sleep to really get you back to no exhaustion.
What would Greg have the role to try and stir me if I'm resistant to being stirred?
Persuasion. Intimidation.
Should we have a roll?
Tell me how he wants to try and. All right, great. Right, so we've got Krill, who's sort of sunk into a big sleep. Greg, do you want to wake him, or do you want to risk going for exhaustion yourself on the next day?
Thunderwave.
You see a half-orc.
I'll let him sleep, because he is like one of our main kind of tanky people, and if there's action, I think that he will be needed.
Oh, he's a Gemini.
What a lad. Okay, so in which case, Greg and Dweezil, could you give me a perception, please?
15.
12.
12. Okay. Yeah, you don't pick up on anything major. You sort of see, one of you hears the noise of shouting, and actually from your vantage point, Dweezil, you can actually see. It was you that got a 15, right?
Yeah.
You can actually see what's going on, and it's just a few drunken louts that have come out of the tavern, and they're just having a disagreement. It's not anything major. They're just sort of a lot of pushing and shoving, nothing violent or anything like that. They're just boys will be boys, eh? So that's going on. So you're fairly happy with that. Greg, you just sort of again pretty much just see what's happening with Dabov. You sort of see that he gets a bit more rest and he's a bit more still, but you hear the shouting, but from your vantage point you don't hear anything. Don't see anything of interest there. Right, so into the long stretch now, the last stretch, sorry. Dabov, can I have your final perception, please? This is for the last 4 hours.
16 again.
16. So yeah, you first couple of hours go past okay. Again, a few noises keep you awake and stuff, or not keep you awake, but sort of in and out. But you're fairly close to the market square. Obviously, we know markets tend to open up quite early. There's just a lot more noise now coming from the town square, and that ends up with you sort of not getting much sleep for the last couple of hours. But ultimately, what happens is you get to the end of the night, and no hobgoblin has come for you. You've had nobody try and push you out of an alleyway. No guards have come your way to move you. You're just the other side of sleep, with nothing really achieved.
That was fun.
But that was fun. So, what I will say is, Dabov, with you, because you were able to get in and out of sleep, if you can give me a constitution check, but with advantage, because you were able to get some sleep. Saving throw, sorry.
Well, I've rolled a 9. That's with advantage.
Nice.
Oh, 11.
11. Unfortunately, that's not going to be enough for you, so you start today with exhaustion level 1. Greg, I'm going to ask you to do the same, but without the advantage.
That's fine. I got a +6 anyway, so
Wow.
it's because of all that coffee, and that's 16, so it's 22.
22. Yeah, you're fine. You managed to start the day. Luckily, you feel tired. Again, it's not the best sleep you got. Well, you wouldn't have got any sleep. It's not the best day, but you're just wired from the night of,
It's fine. He puts his hand in his sleeve, pulls out a crimson bullock, twists it, drinks it. He's fine.
You're emboldened by looking after Dabov and keeping Krill and getting him back to normality. So I'm afraid, Dabov, you start the day with exhaustion.
Can I drink my coffee? Would that help?
It's a bit cold, isn't it?
I was saving it, but...
Do you know what? For such a clever idea, I'm going to allow you to do that, and that will allow at least one of your checks today, should there be any, to be at straight.
Would you like Greg to heat it up with, like, I don't know, something?
Fireball.
Just takes the cup and my hand with it.
Or I could do it in reverse, and I could do Ray of Frost on it and make it like a frappe for you.
Have you got prestidigitation?
I haven't, no.
Right.
I'll drink it cold. Iced coffee. Wake me up a bit more.
Point being is, we've got to about 8 o'clock the next morning. Nothing's happened. No one's taken you. Dabov is still presumably down the alleyway. The two groups are still on their respective routes. What do you want to do?
I think that we should reconvene, Dweezil, with the rest of our team. This plan has not really worked. Not our finest hour, I suggest.
From the roof we're at, can we see the roof they're at?
Yeah. Essentially, you're sort of either end of an alleyway, realistically. It might not be quite as direct as that, but you can probably see each other from a distance. You probably couldn't speak to each other or see
So
them.
can I wave? Can I wave to get their attention? Yeah, so do a big overhead wave, and then obviously it's a podcast, so this is actually going to be completely pointless. But I do some gestures.
Describe them.
So I do the walking thing with the hands, and then I do the point down, and then I point up, and then I do a little tumble, and then thumbs over the shoulder, and then I do 2 thumbs up together, and I wait their response.
Dweezil, I think Krill is trying to get our attention. Nate, is the sun up yet?
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock in the morning at this point, so the sun's pretty much up.
So Quinch pulls out his slotted spoon and he shimmers it in the sun as like a signal to say, yes, we've heard what you've said.
Krill starts making smoke signals. No.
Dabov's just going to piss up the nearest building because it's the morning and he's
already back to his old ways.
Yep. Just going to one hand on the wall in front of him, just pissing all up the wall.
Okay, shall we fly down there? I think this guy could do with a hand.
It is pretty big.
Before we do, I don't think we should approach Dabov. I think we should just
while I'm pissing, thanks.
I think we should just get Dabov's attention from a little way away. I think it would be prudent, until we have a chance to have a chat in private, to not let anyone else see us with Dabov.
You're so smart. You're so wise.
-1 to wisdom. Yeah.
He just doesn't like to be seen with homeless people. He's got an image to uphold.
Are we back together at this point, or are you discussing this on your own roof?
No.
Right, Quinch, whiz us over onto Gregomel and Krill's roof.
Whiz. Oh, fly, right. does so. Hi, guys.
Yeah, so the 4 of you are now on a roof, which is just dandy. Dabov is still presumably taking a piss.
Oh, it's a long one. Yeah.
I almost like the idea of Vin as well taking the piss. Like, he's on his hind legs, also sort of mimicking hand against the wall.
Perfect.
Yeah, that happens.
Also, obviously, he's done his weasel checks just to make sure.
I think that we may have to do this again. If word doesn't necessarily get round instantaneously. There's been a person sleeping rough on the streets for one night. Would this creature, this hobgoblin, come out in the middle of the first night to get the child?
Let's use the day to spread the word of the homeless man.
Are you suggesting that that Greg, Quinch, and I pretend to be kind of right-wing people who dislike homelessness, and the four of us go around?
We would all pretend to be that.
Yeah, we'd all pretend. Yes, correct. Well, we'd all pretend. I'm doing the air quotes again. To be terrible people.
Do we want to continue this farce, or just it doesn't seem like it works?
What should we?
Okay, let me just stop you there for a second, Stuart. Dweezil Stuart. I see where you're going with this. It's worth. So I guess the plan that you're suggesting is you spend the next few hours talking about this homeless person, trying to get the attention of the authorities, trying to get the attention of Nestor or whatever, to try and facilitate somebody coming. It's worth not in that sense.
How are you spelling coming?
with an E, which is weird. It's worth reminding you, and I appreciate you trying to get to the end of this, but it is worth reminding you that you've got at least 2 children missing who may very well still be alive. And I appreciate you're trying to get to, but if this fails again, that's another day lost potentially. What I wanted to do, and I actually had this in mind because I obviously knew what was going to happen that last night. I'd like to just almost metagame for a moment, almost just step away from the story for a second, and I just want to ask you, Stuart, Mike, Sam, and Luke, just to, as DM, recall to me what information Greg would have given you, and also what you would have picked up from Tribal.
The information that Greg had was that there's 2 children that were locked up somewhere.
Yeah.
Like
Was there-
dark
It was a
kind of
cave, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, I
Cavey
thought it was
kind
a
of place.
cave. Yeah.
Dark, grabby, pokey cave.
Yeah, Pokey Cave, which is out towards the hills, or in the hills, if I remember correctly, where one of the children had escaped and started running through the caves, but then was kind of being lurched at from all different directions. I believe he or she, sorry, I can't remember if it was the male or the female, eventually got away, but was a bit disorientated and didn't know where they were.
I feel like there's an implication that we should go and look for this place.
A cave?
Listen, I'm not gonna railroad you, but I just wanted to get a sense of what you wanted because
I want to go and look for the cave.
So perhaps if this child has escaped, that the hooded figure, or the hobgoblin, if you will, would have more pressing matters to find the child that's escaped rather than to go catching new children. Is that perhaps what we're getting at here?
I guess all I wanted to do was just... Obviously, I wanted to see how you guys dealt with this night. But then I just wanted to take this opportunity to remind you that you do actually have potentially 2 children who you don't know when these memories were.
There's a bit of a time limit on him.
But there is a bit of a time limit on this. So if you want to carry on here, I'm not going to say that you shouldn't. But what I'm saying is, if you want to try and do this ruse again with try and get a different result, you can do.
But it won't work.
But equally, well, it might work. I'm not saying it wouldn't. But equally, you've got another day.
So perhaps we should ask local people if any of them know where some caves within the hills are.
Krill jumps in and says, just I just paused for a moment to remember all the information we've had about these missing children. I believe that possibly, given that Greg told us, and I remember him telling us that his vision featured a cave, potentially we should go down that route rather than tracing back via this hobgoblin. We could ask around town about a cave or any well-known caves and start there.
Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button on your favourite podcast app to ensure you don't miss any future instalments of Dice and Desire. And in the meantime, if you want to interact with us, come and find us on Twitter and Instagram at Dice and Desire.
Hey cool people, do you like mead, magic, and long walks in the icy tundra? Ever wonder what your sled dogs are thinking about? Why not cap off your night with a frosty tabletop adventure?
You will come to love my beef cliff.
You're at the common room. Go to your room.
Excuse us.
Excuse me, Dolcliffe. What's your favourite food?
Sausages, probably.
No, you look like a strong lot, but I've got more friends than you.
Carnelian's like shortened on the ground, and he's standing on
You
top
know
of the table.
what you have to
That
do.
is
You know what you have to do.
Carnelian stabs him in the butt.
What did he say?
He likes sausages.
Oh my god, me too!
Alright, I'll sit beside Word and start carving his rod.
Oh my god. Sveta, my rod's nearing completion by the looks of things.
Unless the four of you can stop them.
Well, grab your Ugg boots and join Reflex Save every Wednesday on your favourite podcast platform.